Okay, once you accept we need to have ether has a medium, we can explain this called a double slit experiment easily. This is called a central mystery. So double slit experiment and the photoelectrical effect called the central mystery of the experiment. To justify, we have to have a called a wave-particle duality to justify quantum mechanics. So let me tell you, we can easily use a regular medium, use ether to explain. So the first experiment is use light as a source. Okay, let's say use light as a source. You know, since we already defined that light is a wave and this is a magnetic wave, right? So light go through two slits. You know, this wave, vibration wave, will be called interference each other, create this interference pattern. So this interference pattern, of course, to eventually propagate, go through the slit. So you see this called what is some high the light band this pattern. So for light, I'm not going to say anything more. The true questioning is when your observer turn on. Say, hey, you turn on the observer, even for light, the interference pattern goes away. So if you look at the observer, I put those little eyes. I cannot make anything better than that one. So little camera observer. You know how do you observe some things? You turn on light to shining and high frequency, high energy light, shining to try to spot any shadows come through the wedge slit, right? You know what happens? The original interference pattern is very weak, you know, have to the identical source, the light, and have the same phase, and almost the same amplitude, the same source, so that influence. But once now you have a third light come in, the third light generated wave destroy the interference pattern. So that's why you say, oh, why you observed suddenly this interference pattern goes away. So that's where you say, oh, now called the observer effect, right? So when the interference pattern goes away, the light concentrated in the center. Oh, at the two slit, only the pattern is only two slit point. You do not see this have a bright part and interact black, you know, those kind of pattern. You no longer see that one. Okay, so the most difficult part about this, so far you listen to seems like a very natural, right? Very natural. So why we make this? We make a big deal about it. This is called double slit, because they said, hey, let's try electrons. We know electrons are particle, right? And we know electrons particle is a negative charge particle. That's what the standard model for. You know what happens? When you're shooting particle one at a time, you for sure they are not interact. And you have still this interact called the interference pattern. So that's why we say that quantum mechanics of the particle can simultaneously go through both slits and interact with each other, interference with each other. And then come kind of superposition, so can add multiple locations and simultaneously appear or something. So all the quantum awareness is from this because of this experience. Yes, let me explain why you're shooting individual electron. In this case, we know what we're shooting is not the electron. What we're shooting is a magnetic particle. It just have a magnetic field with it. And when your magnetic particle goes through a magnetic medium, so that's called the UR medium, because we bring the ether back, right? So we have a real called a field. So now ether is an electromagnetic medium, and the particle of electron is a magnet. Magnet traveling in magnetic, what happens? Generate a self-generating the wave. Just like when you're swimming, you are not yourself go forward. The water are surrounding you, self-moving, create a self-generated called a wave. And when you go through the slits, and these waves interact. each other. So that's called constructive interference. So that's why electron. Now they say, hey, if we shine lights to detect which part of which slit the electron goes through them, what happens? That third light, when you turn lights on, observe the light destroyed the original self-generated waves. Why it is self-generated? You know, electrons are magnets, right? In this case, in this theory, and space filled with magnetic fluids, right? When your magnet is traveling through magnetic fluids, don't you think the wave would generate self-generate wave? Just as simple. Okay. This puzzled almost 100 years. Okay.